Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new Power to Fly Chat and Learn. My name is Sienna Brown, and I'm very excited to be moderating today's conversation with Annika Harloff on the impact and influence of intercultural leadership. So before getting started, I would just like us to go through some very simple housekeeping rules so we can make sure that this is a safe and comfortable space for everyone. First of all, we encourage you to participate, so feel free to turn your cameras on and drop your name and where you're calling in from in the chat. We're always eager to see where our community is located. In addition, please note that this conversation is being recorded. So 2 to 4 business days after the chat, you will receive an email with a link to recording where you can dig in even more with some of the great insights that Annika is going to be sharing with us. So please note that if you're on camera and you are off mute, you will show up in the live recording, but you're welcome to show up just as you are. And then last up, we want this to be a conversation, so feel free to share any questions you may have in the chat box. And if you'd like to remain anonymous, always feel free to DM me and I'll ask the question on your behalf. Lastly, make sure to keep up with us on social media. @PowerToFly is our handle. So without further ado, I am so excited to introduce all of you to Annika Harloff. So Annika is a globally recognized, certified, and awarded career coach. She has 20 years of international sales management expertise with multinational companies. She has lived and worked in Serbia and Singapore, building up the Eastern European and Southeast Asian market within the construction business. And currently, she is living in Berlin and coaching clients all over the world. She is a lecturer at the Berlin School of Economics and Law and the International University in Berlin, where she leads discussions on business administration, foreign expansion, international management, and leadership. We are so excited to have you here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you very much for the lovely introduction, Sienna. It's good to see you. And let's dive right in. I think we have some questions, from the participants.
I love it. So yes, let's dive right in. I mean, I would love if you could just start off telling us, how do you define intercultural leadership?
So when I'm looking at intercultural leadership, I'm seeing a group of cultures working together that might be in one place or in several places. This can be in person or virtual, but important for me is that all the individuals working in the team together are respecting each other and are learning from each other. So for me, also leader, I try to empower each individual, but I am also asking them to empower each other, listen to each other, and to learn from each other.
I love this. So I'm hearing respect, collective learning, and then also a sentiment of empowerment. So essentially, it sounds like when we're focusing on intercultural leadership, it actually helps build better leaders. I love this. So I would love to hear from you. What are some of the biggest challenges that you might have faced in the past when leading diverse teams?
So my biggest challenge, honestly, is to bring projects on time in the quality I want. Because having different people from different cultures with different views, it is challenging on the quality, because quality means different to different people. And also time management is sometimes an issue where some people deliver 100% straight away. For other cultures, it's normal to go several rounds.
I love that. And I mean, you're digging into just when we're thinking about diversity and all of its different aspects, all of the different things that play a part in that. And I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the best tips or lessons that you've learned as you've been working with different cultures and different teams to be able to reach their goals? What are some tips that you would have?
So to reach the goal is to motivate them, right? That we are all having one mission, one vision. We know where we are going, and we are all together approaching these goals. They need to be transparent to all of us. and we need to have the same value in the group. So, if some people are not having the same values, it is better they are leaving the team, because they will not be happy in that team, and the rest of the people also will not. So it is very important to be strongly aligned, to be transparent, and to follow also.
I love this alignment, transparency. What are some of the soft skills that you think, if someone who's watching right now is an aspiring intercultural leader, what are some of the soft skills that you think that they should be fostering?
Look, I think the most important is you need to be aware of yourself. Because if you don't know who you are and what you're doing, you can do more harm than good. Then the second thing is you need to be an active listener. So analyze the situation, listen to your team members, because you don't need to know it all. You just need to ask them and they will tell you. And then it will be easy to lead them. But if you think I am the leader now, I'm on top and I'm running the whole thing, this is going to go wrong.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think it's something that we see so often when we have leaders who want to be intentional leaders, who want to be inclusive, really being able to say, how are we bringing our employees along the journey to expand that sphere of influence that everyone can have and should have, especially when navigating in different cultures across the globe. I love this. Okay, let's talk a little bit about intersectionality, right? So what are some things that you've learned in regards to effectively navigating the intersectionality of identity, cultures, and generations among your team?
I'm taking each individual as an individual. So we all are built in this or that way. I'm coming with my educational background from my area. Others are having their area, but yet actually that's where sometimes prejudice are arising, especially when we are in the virtual world. So we're saying, oh yeah, she's that white educated woman, and she has everything so well. So actually it is about, again, listening, seeing what is it you have. What are your strengths? And I'm looking at the strengths of each individual, and then I'm empowering them. So not so much looking on the background, but seeing who is there in front of me and where do you want to go? What is it? Where can you make an impact? And how can I help you?
I love this. And I mean, I think this resonates so much with folks who are probably watching, right? But the importance of being able to say, not just what you see on the screen or what bias might come up as we're observing the people who are in front of us, but actually pausing to understand the different levels of individuals' identities, whether those are seen or unseen. And I'm sorry, my puppy is distracting the heck out of me right now. But the different identities that individuals have, whether they're seen or unseen, and then really being able to dive in and say, what does each individual need? And then how can us as leaders or aspiring leaders really be able to create that sentiment of psychological safety, right? Of being able to create a space where folks are open to sharing so that we can give and lead them with what they actually need. Before we continue, I just want to pause for any of you who are watching right now and you have questions that you would like for us to cover on the impact or the influence of intercultural leadership, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll be sure to bring them into the conversation. So let's talk a little bit about belonging, right? I would love to hear, what is your go-to strategy to really strive belonging within your teams? And then how would you go about driving belonging in global and virtual environments?
Yeah, so for me, it is very important to create a comforting atmosphere in my team so that everybody feels, I think already with the vision, the mission, the goal, the strategy, we know where we're going. And I'm taking people on board who have the same values. So what doesn't mean that if once in a while you're having a different opinion, that you are not welcome. No, these kind of opinions are more than welcome. Actually, I adore friction because when we have friction in the team, it will lead us for a better situation. Having said that, this is very important, but you can only allow friction if people feel comfortable first. If people feel comfortable asking a question, if people feel comfortable being themselves, if they feel comfortable exchanging with each other. So usually when I go into a new team or we're setting up a new project, I'm creating a team event so that all of us can speak out who we are, where is our aspiration, what is our superpower, and how we can contribute to the project. Then this one is creating a safe space already. And I'm repeating that on a weekly basis, organizing a coffee chat where everybody is coming in. So I prefer in person, of course, over a long table, but if that's not possible, at least have some little interaction on the screen, share how was the week and what is upcoming. But also I focus on individual meetings, as in asking each individual also, where do you see yourself in the team? How are you doing? Is there anything else you need from me as a leader? So that we can succeed together.
I love this. And I mean, I think something I'd love to hear from you, because when we're thinking about psychological safety, and you had spoken about this, of tapping into each individual's needs, what is a tip that you might have for people who are saying, okay, that sounds really great, but I don't have the time, or I don't have the energy. I'm doing so many different things. What are some strategies that you've learned to figure out what that looks like in managing your time as a leader as well when leading intercultural teams?
Yeah, like I love your excuse. And all my coaches are saying that I don't have time. And then for me, time is talking about priorities, right? So I said earlier, I'm asking questions. So then I'm asking questions. How important is the team for you? How important is each individual team member for you, for the success of whatever goal you're having? And I let them measure. I say, is it 20%? Is it 50%? Is it 80%? What do you think? And most of the time, my coaches are saying, oh, well, actually, we're quite dependent on the team. It's 80%, I would say. So if the human factor in the whole team is 80%, then how can you afford to say, I have no time for my team? Sorry, no, I don't go with that one. So people the team is running the project, the team is running the success. So you need to make time for your team, definitely.
I love this. I mean, I think that's such an amazing breakdown of saying, how important to you is this truly? How are you prioritizing this? I want to bring in a question that we just got from the audience. So they had asked, I recently accepted a leadership position at a new company. I've been told the team I'll manage is deeply disconnected. Can you share some activities or exercises to start fostering belonging from the very start?
Yeah, so I think I gave already some examples of what you could do. So always have an open door. And then again, if it's physically in the room, have an open door. If it is virtually, give hours, say between 8 and 9, everybody can come into my virtual room, or you're opening up from 5 to 6, depending. So my effective hours are in the morning, maybe yours are in the afternoon. So I'm allocating slots for the team when they can come in, and I'm accessible to them. Then team meetings, everybody to come in person, but also organize something off the work, go for a boat trip, have a soccer game or something, and be authentic, be human, because I think this person is perceived a little bit cold from their team. So it's one thing to say, oh, these are the goals, this is what we have to do. And usually it comes also from the management. I am new, I have a lot of pressure, because we shall not forget nowadays leaders have a lot of pressure from their management, and they are trying not to pass it on to their team. I still need to give them a possibility to develop themselves. So it is important to open up to them, to give the goal, but also to still be human. So I am making mistakes, and when I'm making mistakes, I'm telling that. It's also important to laugh. You know, the other day I was having a coaching session, and the client was saying, you know what, it was just nice to see you smile. It makes me comfortable. So of course you shall not smile when you don't feel like smiling, but you know, being human, smile, or hungry. You know, if I'm hungry, please don't ask me anything. So if we have an important decision to take, I will tell you, look, this is important. I need to have lunch first. After, we can do whatever you want. But you see, by that, I'm not the untouchable leader, the goddess, but I am becoming a human, a part of the team who also has desires, and who's also failing.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the transparency part and the vulnerability part. And I think all of that really does build in to the psychological safety that we were talking about, of showing up as leaders, as humans who also have on days, off days, and needs as well. Something else, I just want to share a quick tip for those of you who are working in mostly remote environments, going off of what you were saying before in regards to team meetings, dedicating 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the length of the meeting, to having a quick check-in question, where we get to know people on a deeper level outside of just what is our goal for this meeting, but really creating some of those small moments. Something we also do that I love are team appreciations, where we just encourage individuals to celebrate one another, to be able to share, but not just the work that they're doing, but who they are and all of their essence. I love this. We're getting in a question live from LinkedIn, and they would like to know, how do you manage frustrations from team members, especially when their frustration affects the rest of the team's energy and attitude?
Oh, yes, that is a very crucial question, and thanks for asking it, because negative sentiments go much faster than the positive ones. And if we're having only one person down, can drag the whole team down. So we must to be careful for this not to happen, because it will affect also our efficiency. It will affect our results. So first of all, acknowledge the frustration. So if it's one person, take that person apart from the others, ask what is happening, why are you frustrated? Not just like, no, it's not possible to be frustrated. I'm a great leader. This is a great company. Everybody loves this situation. Why are you frustrated? So no, it is okay to be frustrated. I thank you for giving us this feedback, because people who are talking, they haven't quit mentally yet. Those people who are not talking anymore, they are out already. So for them, it will take much more efforts to get them back. And then ask, what are you frustrated about? Try to solve the situation. What is it I can do now that we will decrease your frustration? I cannot, I'm not magic, you know, I cannot always vanish all the frustration. But I can decrease frustration. It might be with an hour of some monetary benefits, some different position, to be able to talk to somebody outside the organization, inside the organization. So there is multiple possibilities. Also, if it has reached the team, we need to stop immediately and have a team meeting and address this issue. We shall not make an elephant out of the mouse, of course, but if there is something, better address it now than we are waiting. Because you know what? Politics in the company is giving so much negative energy and is dragging us down, and it's taking from our efficient working time, that I have you rather spend time chit-chatting in the coffee kitchen about lovely topics than sitting alone on a virtual working space being frustrated, because the coffee chit-chatting will give us positive energy. Both is a waste of time, but here we're having positive energy while the other one is negative energy, and it's taking you totally off the topic.
No, you're bringing up so many great points. And I think something that, going back to what you were saying before, is also creating space to understand where the frustration is coming from, but it might be something that's happening in their personal lives, right? They might be going through a breakup or something related to health. And so creating that space as well to be able to understand, what do we have control of, what's going on, whether it's in your personal or professional life, and then how can we support you in that way? So I love this because it really has a focus on pausing, identify what the need is, and then figuring out that solution in tandem with the individual as well. So a huge thank you to whoever shared that question. And I would love to move us forward to another question that we got in. They had asked, how can a leader of a company with over 100 employees expand their influence when they don't really get a chance to when they don't really get a chance to interact with every team in the organization? What are ways to expand their sphere of influence?
Like, this is such a great question. And I have done some of it, and I have come up with some other ideas also. So let me share with you what I would recommend. So it can be you walking through the factory or through the office every day, just being there physically, if it is in person. I used to do that as a salesperson. I used to park my car in front of the production unit and then walk through the production unit every morning. Is that my job? No, but all the workers would know me. And all the workers would put special attention for whenever a sales order would be produced for me and my clients. They would know the export production is for Miss Annika, and they would always make sure that it has best quality, because Miss Annika takes care of us and her product and her clients. So I was putting attention on this issue already in a way. Of course, now you cannot, especially if it is virtual, you cannot always walk through the production unit. Sometimes the production unit is also not near to your sales unit. What else you can do? You can be available through social media. You can have a weekly, daily LinkedIn posts and be connected with them. You can create your own internal Facebook. Some of my clients have done that. so that they can broadcast on a daily matter. You can even send, and a lot of leaders have done that during COVID, send a daily 2 minutes message, video message to your employees. So in that way, it is 2 minutes for you, but it is 2 minutes times 100 for each individual, and your message is reaching them every day. If you want them to do something, if you want them to see your face, it is possible this way, and they will see, my boss is here, my boss cares about me, I'm getting the latest message, what is done. You can do a newsletter if you don't like to do a video recording, because not all of us are fond of it. You can do also quarterly events where you have everybody joining together on a dinner activity. For me, I like food, and then it's nice if everybody is bringing their cultural food also, so that we can understand what is their favorite food, what is their specialty, and there can be an exchange also a little bit more private. But I also like interaction. When you go into sports or into gaming, which is creating creativity. So last week I was having a Lego Serious Play workshop where you can build your vision, where you can build your team. Yeah, so there is so many possibilities how you can tackle that, and always be a good example. I think that is important. Oh, can I share? Sorry, Sienna, I have one more. I like also the competition. You can have weekly competition or monthly competition about innovation or about efficiency. So in that way, we are going through our goals again. If we are looking on, you know, those from Walmart, employee of the month, of the week, best service, best innovation, all this is creating recognition, is creating interaction. And even you can invite 2 or 3 employees per month to your office, then it is quality before quantity.
I love this. And I think I just want to encourage all of us out there, no matter what your position is, whether you hold a leadership position right now, or you're an emerging leader looking to share this scale your sphere of influence. Annika's giving some really great tips of also saying, how are you giving updates on what you're working for, but using more video, more connection, letting yourself be known, especially if the size of your company is a little bit on the bigger side, really thinking through ways that you can integrate that in your everyday work. Okay, we are getting in a ton of questions from the audience, so I want to keep us going. A question that someone had asked is, what is your take on micromanagement? I know it's not ideal, but I'm leading a remote team and I want to make sure that no tasks are being missed.
Well, micromanagement is a tough topic for me, because I am adventurous, I like my freedom, and I hate to be micromanaged. So then also I lead my team how I like to be managed. So I think it is in this time, it's on you to work on yourself, that slowly you let go of the micromanagement and you get into a macromanagement. I think you need to understand that not every level can be led the same way. That, yes, of course, if you have a new employee in your team, that one can and is unskilled, that one cannot run the whole show, him or herself. That is clear to all of us. But I would rather support than micromanage. And if we are having a specialist who is with you for so long time, I'm sure he or she can handle by him or herself. So I rather like to give deadlines or even ask my staff for deadlines. So until when can you manage? And then usually they deliver to me in time. And if it is not delivered, I was explaining that earlier, that my problem was delivering projects in time. So I have learned from that. And now I'm asking them, when can you deliver? I have done their tasks usually by myself, so I'm aware how much time it will take. And if I think it's a short deadline, I'm asking, are you sure you can handle it? Also looking on the other projects. So I want a real deadline, a real timeline, which the person is capable of. Then I would only go into micromanagement if a person is failing successfully, currently. If somebody is managing their time and their task well, why do you think you need to interact and interfere constantly? Do you think your pay is way too much, right? Then you should be on your employees level and not on the leadership level if you're constantly micromanaging. And believe me, I have been leading my teams remotely since 2004. So I didn't need to have COVID for starting leading remotely. It is just much more accepted nowadays. And I had to have my learnings, but I really wouldn't recommend a micromanagement. For me, goes well weekly assessments, weekly check-ins with my team, where I'm asking what was happening last week and what is going to happen next week and which projects do we have upcoming. You know what? In between that 1 week, nothing really drastic can happen. And I also like to give a budget. So for the newcomers, they would have a budget of 500 euros for decision making. So if they are failing, it's a failure of 500 euros. But for me was the question, do I always want to be asked for each 500 euros question? Definitely not. So I'm more on empowerment. I'm more on delegation. I am more on leading the team and giving them freedom. And I'm not allowing you, the excuse of remote work, because I'm sure you have a great team.
Yeah, and I mean, you bring up a really great point. I mean, I hope all of you are taking notes as we're going through, because there are some great things, or go back and watch the recording. A couple of things I wanted to lean into that you had shared was understanding deadlines, understanding what individuals need, but you ended it really well of like leading a great team, which also goes to trusting the individuals that you have in those roles to do the work that they're meant to do. And it brings me back to what you were sharing before about making sure that they're tied into the mission and the vision. And so they feel like each and every one of their actions are aligned to the wider team, department, or organizational goals. The other thing I would just add in there as well is, in regards to micromanaging, also thinking through what is the objective that you have and being open to having different ways of getting there, right? And that's something we encounter quite a bit in leadership, is being able to say, we know what we want the goal is, but then giving that freedom and flexibility with how we get there in the way that might work best for the individuals who are leading the project. And so this is great. A lot of great questions are coming in, so I do want to keep us moving. The next one that we have is, how would you handle it if you're in an environment that is not psychologically safe? Is there a way to protect your own team from the wider company environment?
Well, yes. So this is a good way. I would firstly put my team in a safe space. So, because that's what we can assure, that we are interacting as a team in a psychological healthy way that will already save us and will create a little bit of a bubble and will create us an umbrella above us. It cannot prevent us from once in a while some stones will drop through the umbrella and will hit one or another, or even the whole team, but we will be together. So that's what is my possibility as a leader, first of all, to create a healthy and safe place. Then the other thing which I have realized, when there is a healthy group and it shines out, actually more people want to join this place or are copying, and then it gets, usually those teams are super successful, they get named as best practice and the organization is copying. So actually, that is usually what is happening.
I love this. I love this. And you're bringing up a lot of great points that I think are really important, especially for those of you who are listening, who are either holding those leadership positions or you're looking to step into those positions, which brings me to the next question that we have from the audience. What are some ways that you could recommend increasing that sense of psychological safety, even if someone doesn't hold a leadership position? So imagine if they are an individual contributor at a company, or they might have joined a few months ago. What are some steps that every individual can take?
I love that. I love that question, because, there is always the formal leaders on the organizational chart, and then there are informal leaders, and they are never mentioned anywhere. And when I'm joining a company, I am asking always for the organizational chart, and I'm asking for let them explain me the processes. And then I'm marking myself who I think are the formal leaders and who are the informal leaders. So if you are joining, you can be an informal leader. You can make a change, because actually we cannot change so often in our career. It is mostly when we are switching countries or when we are switching companies. That's when we can introduce ourselves newly, and that's when we can change something. So if you are having your procedure of how to be a safe informal leader, if you're having your charismatic working style, go for it. I mean, who holds you? Who can forbid you to smile at your co-workers? Who can forbid you to analyze the situation and to ask questions? And actually, if you don't do it aggressively, but ask in a smart, soft way, the organization will understand in what kind of situation they are. And maybe they haven't realized it themselves, because we have always been doing it like that. So they will be grateful to you that you are coming on board, that you are asking those questions, and you are having possibilities or giving the possibility to change it.
Yeah, I love this. And this is bringing us to the point of, how are you identifying what is your leadership style, right? You were talking a little bit about reinventions when changing companies or countries as well. And I think it's important for all of us to think through, what is our leadership style? And then again, how can we understand who we're talking to in each situation, and then being able to adapt what their needs are? Which brings me to our next question, going back to intercultural leadership. Someone had a question around, are there different ways to adapt my leadership style when working with a team that has different cultural backgrounds, but also staying true to my authentic self? How can I make sure that I'm ensuring both balance and alignment while connecting with my team?
Yes, so definitely, I think it's a good way. We are having our own leadership style. We are ourselves, and we should be authentic. Yes, for sure. But each project, I'm asking myself, so what is needed now? So I said earlier, we need to be aware of ourselves. But we are also creating a new project setup, a new organizational setup each time. So for me, I'm not going always with the same team in each situation. I think that's also the greatness of diversity. I am picking different people with different strengths to join me in different positions, in different projects, so that, and you know what I like the most? When I don't need to be the leader in the team. So I'm even stepping down and asking somebody else, can you be the leader for this project? Because you are closer to the client, because you're closer to the topic, because you're closer to the team, because you're verbally better, you have more time. So this is possible, and I don't need to be the leader on the paper or the leader speaking constantly, but I can lead the team also from the back. So that is a possibility. So I need to be aware of myself. I need to set up the team. And then there is the skill set of the team. We are setting it all up, and we are creating a success story together. So the culture is different. And I can say this is a speed project, and we need to go through it. And I will tell that to my team. Transparency again. Look, we were too slow last time. We got feedback from the management, or yes, we did well last time, but this is a more demanding client. Now we need to, the client puts focus on speed. So can we be faster? And I'm putting it back to the team also. How can we be faster? Or you will see me in this project asking for more speed, but for lesser quality. But I think what is important is that I am announcing it also, that because I can have different ways of leading in different projects, in different teams. And that's what I call a cultural chameleon. It took me some time to achieve that, to learn also a lot of failures, definitely, so that I'm now able to do that. But we need to be aware who is in the team and how do they prefer to be led.
I love this. I love this. You're bringing us back to awareness, like how you had mentioned before. I know we have about 15 minutes left. This has been an amazing conversation so far. I just want to invite anyone else who's watching, if you have any more questions that you would love to be asking, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll be sure to cover them. So next up, and this is coming from an individual contributor's position or point of view, can you share some advice on how to respond to your own leaders when they're not respecting your boundaries?
So my leaders, the one who are leading me.
Absolutely. So imagine I am on your team and my boundary is that I'm not working after 6 p.m. And you're saying, oh, that's nice, but you're sending me emails at 7 p.m. or 8:30, expecting a response. So how would you, in my position, respond to your leader when they're not respecting your boundaries?
Okay. Or me to my top management. Okay, understood. So if my team doesn't expect my boundaries, sorry, there is boundaries. So each no I am saying to you is a yes to myself. And I need to have my priorities. And you need to respect me as a person, and you need to trust me as a person who is doing the best here for the organization. If everything is set and there is deadlines, it's transparent, the goal is clear, the mission is clear, and you are sure that I'm not doing any harm to the company. And most of the time, the example you gave of not answering to emails after 7 p.m., sorry, this is nonsense. You think there is a difference if I'm answering 1 hour later or 12 hours later? I don't think so. But if I need this 1 hour to be mental healthy and that I can answer you next morning in 5 minutes and I give you a proper answer, or on the same day, and then I would need longer and I would be angry and disrupted during my day and I don't know what. So I don't think this is a good way of cooperating. And honestly, I would ask you if there is not something wrong in your time management.
I like this. I want to dig into this a little bit more, right? I think this is extremely true, but I think the question was coming more so from how can someone communicate this upwards? So for example, what was coming to mind for me is, and you had mentioned this a little bit, but being clear on what your boundaries are and the why behind them, which is something that you had mentioned. So for those of you who are saying, I don't necessarily know how to communicate boundaries to my leaders, that's definitely something to think about. And then also, Annika, similar to what you were saying before, is thinking through the reasoning why, because you'd explained that well, right? Of being able to say, okay, if you know when you work best, what your best time management is, and you know that you can still get the work done when needed, doing a little bit of, I would almost say, this is taking me back to what you were saying of this works best when you're changing cultures or companies, but also communicating your boundaries from the very beginning or creating a new relationship. And then also asking your leader as well, what are some of the boundaries that you have in place and how do they serve you in the workplace? This way you make it more of a two-way conversation versus feeling like you are unable to communicate your boundaries to your leaders because you might be worried about negative penalties or being able to see as if you're not working as hard just because you do have boundaries. So I love what you shared. And I just want to encourage the folks who are listening to think through some of those different strategies the next time that you have a conversation like that.
And can I add something? Because I prefer not to talk about the boundaries, but I prefer to ask, what do I need to do in the first year so that you are satisfied with me? Mm-hmm. And then that person can tell me, and what is things you don't want me to do? So what is important to you? And I can tell you, I like people, and I'm German, so I like people to be on time. And if somebody is not on time, it's disrespectful for me. So that is just something that comes culturally with me. It's a little thing, but I will communicate that to my team. I will also communicate to my team. I'm a very direct person. So if I'm telling you straightforward, it's for the good of the team, for the good of the company. It is never for you or against you in person. So if these kind of things are communicated straightforward immediately, then there is no problem with it.
I love this. And I love what you're saying about creating that constant communication loop. And I know sometimes even leaders have this in onboarding surveys for new folks that are joining the team, communicating that when they're working with new leaders. So these are some amazing tips. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about coaching. A question that we got from the audience is, how can you get leadership's buy-in to start investing in coaching services for managers or emerging leaders?
Well, you can start offering a trial session, and once you're seeing the success, the leaders will see the success, because we were talking about it earlier. Do you think you as a leader, you can coach and manage your staff at the same time? And sometimes it is personal issues, and sometimes they just need a neutral person to talk to. So it is good to outsource it, to give it to a different provider, and then your staff has somebody neutral to talk to and can come back. So we were talking about the frustration topic, we were talking about communication topics and so on. So all this can be solved with a third person. You can also calculate it. You can say, look, I am bringing you so much cost reduction. I'm bringing you so much increase of profitability per year. I really would like to have additional coaching. It will cost me so many US dollars, euros, I don't know, whatever currency, and my efficiency will increase. And I will stay for 1 or 2 or 3 years longer. There is statistics also that satisfied employees are staying longer in the company. If you're onboarding new people, you have to pay a certain amount for them, and time and efforts. So all this can be erased if you are engaging a coach. Also, the costs for the coach can be deducted from the P&L. So it's a normal cost. It can be additional benefits. So instead of asking for a salary increase, or ask for a salary increase and a coaching support, or it can be a training. Nowadays, we are not giving training one for all, but we are going on individual coaching, which then much lesser is needed, but it is much more efficient.
I love this. I mean, you've given us so much to reflect on, to think about, and to integrate into our personal and professional lives today. To round us out, I would love to just ask you, if you had to leave the group with 3 tips on becoming a more impactful and influential intercultural leader, what would be 3 tips that you would leave this group with?
3 tips, that's hard to compress on, because we are relying now on my whole work experience. Well, I would say be authentic, be yourself. So be aware of yourself and be authentic, be yourself. Be an active listener, observe your surrounding and your team who is inside. And communicate goal-oriented.
I mean, phenomenally done. You were struggling. I think that those are 3 amazing, Susie. Those are 3 amazing, amazing, amazing tips to leave us all with. I hope that all of you who have been watching have gotten to learn so much from Annika Harloff. I know that I have as well. And please, Annika, before we hop off, where can individuals find you? How can they keep in touch as we move forward?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn. So Annika Harloff at International Mind. I'm also on Instagram. I'm having my own website. It's the International Mind one. I'm virtually every day here talking to people in the whole world from Berlin. But also, please, if you find some time, if you manage to come to Berlin, say hi, drop by, and we can come for a coffee together. I would really love that.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge, experience, and expertise with all of us today. And thank you to all of you who were tuning in to this chat and learn on the impact and influence of intercultural leadership. Thank you all, and have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much, Annika, for joining us today.
Thank you. It was lovely being with you.
Talk to you soon.